All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are opening up a strategic playbook for building businesses that actually last. Now, this isn't about chasing the latest trend or some fleeting growth hack. It's about getting to the heart of the core principles that really, truly drive success. And we have to start with this foundational truth because it changes everything. How a product actually enters the market can be the single biggest factor in whether it succeeds or just fades away. Building something amazing is absolutely critical, but it's only half the battle. The real win comes from a series of smart, deliberate choices you make long before your product is even finished and long after. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to move through 4 chapters. First up, mastering the market. Then we'll talk about how to turn a regular customer into a true fan. Chapter 3 is all about earning attention and trust in this incredibly noisy world. And finally, we're going to look ahead to the next massive shift on the horizon, the agentic future. Okay, Chapter 1. This is all about understanding the rules of the game you're playing, because before you can even think about winning, you have to get a handle on the external forces that shape your entire landscape. How you enter, how you grow, and ultimately how you compete. So what exactly is a go-to-market strategy, or GTM? Well, it is so much more than a big launch campaign or a party. Think of it as your strategic entry point. It's a series of really precise choices that answer 3 critical questions. 1, who exactly are your very first customers? 2, how are they going to find you? And 3, what story are you going to tell them that actually makes them care? And you can see how the smartest companies in the world nail this. Uber didn't launch for everybody, right? They went straight for urban professionals who were already feeling the pain of trying to hail a cab. Slack didn't try to sell to giant corporations from day one. It spread organically, one team at a time like a secret weapon. In Tesla, they launched a high-end, super-fast sports car first, just to completely shatter everyone's idea of what an electric car could even be. Okay, so getting your foot in the door is one thing. But that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? How do you build momentum that actually feeds on itself? How do you create a system where growth automatically leads to even more growth? Well, for a lot of the most iconic companies, the secret sauce is a powerful force called network effects. This is when the value of your product doesn't come from its features, but from the people who are using it. Think about WhatsApp. If you're the only one on it, it's totally useless. But when all your friends and family join, it becomes absolutely essential. Same thing with Airbnb. More hosts attract more travelers, which, you guessed it, attracts even more hosts. Now, the trick is reaching that critical mass. But once you do, your growth pretty much takes care of itself. Now this is a really interesting way to reframe your whole marketing mindset. See, most companies are focused on lead generation. They're just trying to capture contact info from people who are already looking for a solution. And that's like fishing in a very small, very crowded pond. The really strategic companies, they focus on demand generation. They educate the market, they build trust, they create desire before they ever ask for an email. They're not just fishing, they're making the entire pond bigger for everyone. All right, so we've talked about how to enter and grow within a market. But markets are made of people, right? So let's shift our focus to them. Our second chapter moves from the dynamics of the market to the dynamics of human relationships. It's not just about getting customers. It's about building something that creates real, lasting value. And that brings us to a metric that, honestly, separates the good businesses from the truly great ones: lifetime value, or LTV. It's a simple idea, but it's profound. Instead of just focusing on that one single sale, you calculate the total value a customer brings you over their entire relationship with your company. And that changes everything. It changes how much you're willing to spend to find them, and it changes how you design your product to keep them happy for the long haul. This really says it all. Revenue is just a one-time event, a transaction. But LTV, that's a measure of the relationship itself. If someone buys from you once, you've made a sale. But if they stay with you, if they keep coming back, well, now you've built a business. Now, building that kind of relationship means you have to understand the difference between loyalty and advocacy. And they are not the same thing, not even close. Loyalty is behavioral. It's quiet. It's when a customer just renews their subscription without even thinking about it. Advocacy, though, that's emotional. It's loud. It's when a customer goes out of their way to tell their friends about you, or even defend your brand online. And you can't just skip to the end. There is a clear, step-by-step path to get there. Probably the biggest mistake brands make is asking for referrals before they've even earned loyalty. Look, if customers aren't coming back, your first job is to build that loyalty.
If they are coming back but they're not talking about you, you need to deepen that emotional connection. And only then, once you've done that work, can you activate that powerful, authentic advocacy.
This whole idea of deep connection over just broad reach is captured perfectly by the 1,000 true fans theory. The idea is that instead of chasing millions of casual followers, you really only need a core group of 1,000 truly dedicated supporters to build a sustainable, amazing business.
And when you look at the math, it's surprisingly powerful. Think about it. If you have 1,000 true fans who are willing to spend just 8,000 rupees a year on what you do, well, that's 80 lakh rupees annually. This is the ultimate expression of a high LTV strategy. It proves you can build an incredible business based on deep relationships, not just on transactional scale.
Having a dedicated community like that is the goal, right? But in a world that is just overflowing with noise, how do you build that community in the first place? Well, our third chapter is all about that. Earning attention and building a brand that people actually care about. And remember, you see, we all live and work in the attention economy now. In this world, human attention is the new gold. It's the scarcest resource there is. Platforms aren't just competing for users anymore. They're fighting for seconds and minutes of your day. Netflix autoplays the next episode. Instagram has that endless scroll because your attention is the business model. So the real question for any brand today isn't just who has your customers' attention, but who actually deserves it. And to earn that attention, you need razor-sharp positioning. This isn't about some catchy tagline. It's a hard, strategic choice about where you belong in your customer's mind. So for a brand like IKEA, it would be something like this. For people with big dreams and small budgets, our brand is a home furnishings brand that delivers well-designed furniture at really low prices, so they can create a better life at home. See? It's clear, it's specific, and it's incredibly powerful. So once you know your position, the PESO framework is a great way to think about how your message gets out into the world. It stands for paid, earned, shared, and owned media. And each one does something different for you. Paid ads give you scale. Earned media, like getting press, gives you credibility. Shared media, social, creates momentum. And owned media, like your own website, gives you total control. A really great strategy uses a mix of all four to build one cohesive message. And this brings us to a final, really crucial point on communication. It is so tempting to chase virality. But here's the thing. Viral content often has no memory. People might remember the funny video, but they forget the brand behind it. Strategic content is different. It's connected to a core idea, and it's repeated over time. It doesn't just create noise, it builds real, lasting meaning. Okay, for our final chapter, let's look ahead. The strategic landscape is always shifting, and the next tectonic change is already happening, all driven by a new kind of artificial intelligence. We've moved through these pretty distinct phases of AI, right? Traditional AI was reactive. You asked it a question, it gave you an answer. Then came generative AI, which became our creative partner. It helps us make stuff. The next giant leap is agentic AI. And this isn't a partner, it's an autonomous executor. You don't give it prompts, you give it an objective, and it figures out how to get the job done all by itself. So what makes this possible? It's really four capabilities working together in a continuous loop. First, perception. It can read data and signals from the real world. Then, reasoning. It analyzes all that data and decides on a plan. Third is action. It actually goes out and interacts with other software. And finally, reflection. It learns from the outcome and corrects its own course. This isn't a chatbot, it's a workflow engine. Imagine telling an AI, hey, book my travel to that conference in Tokyo. And it doesn't just find flights, it checks your calendar, RSVPs to events, books a hotel near the venue, and puts it all in your itinerary, without you lifting a finger. And that leaves us with one final big thought. The line between a tool that you have to command and a delegate that you can trust is getting blurrier by the day. So ask yourself this. If you still have to tell your AI what to do every single step of the way, is it really a tool or is it an agent? Because the answer to that question is going to change everything.